That's right. One more game, and SlipCo is going to have to go to that third-place match tomorrow, Tasteless. But don't count them out yet. That was a nice build by Zanster, getting that quick +1 attack and doing a lot of Ling harassment. He got a lot of drones with it. But SlipCo isn't going to fall to the same thing twice.
Well, there's 2 maps left to pick from, and SlipCo is going to have to choose between Deadwing or Nimbus. It's a mirror matchup, so the maps are not always – they don't always have the same impact that they would as, if it was like a PVT or something like that. But do you have any map, either of these 2 maps, do you think there's one that SlipCo will be trying to take?
You know, I always think of him as like a macro Zerg. He always likes to play like a longer game. He's not as aggressive. So I would say Deadwing maybe. You know, both maps are very big. They're both 4-player maps. So it gets a little bit volatile because you don't necessarily scout your opponent right away. But I think that map is a good map where he can be a little bit more defensive on it and really secure his economy and go into that macro game that we've seen from him so many times.
It is interesting because the first map was a one-on-one map. So, you know, any crazy cheeses that could occur in a ZVZ, you know, we've seen some of these wild all-ins. Not going to be happening on these 4-player maps. So we'll have to see what exactly happens.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the map choice is in just a moment. They are getting that game made. Well, Zanster really showing some high skill so far. You know, he's been popping up a bit. I got to cast him at DreamHack recently. I believe a match against Jaedong he had where it went down to they basically mined out one of the biggest maps of all time, Waypoint. Remember that map? They had the faraway positions, and Zanster was like playing insanely well despite the fact Jaedong had like 3 more bases and stayed alive forever. So this kid has really grown in skill in the last couple of years.
I love the harass we saw there in that first game. He got those links in there. He did the damage he needed to do. And I think the timing, or the follow-up timing, I should say, was perfect to just close out that game with the roaches and everything, crushing that third base. We have been informed that there is going to be a small delay. I believe there's some technical problem with the PCs. We'll give you guys further updates when we're notified. But for the time being, we'll have to wait maybe another minute or 2. Yeah,
it shouldn't be too long. So hope you guys are enjoying. Let your friends know that this is going on. A couple great matches happening, a ZVZ and a PvP. You know, it's kind of funny. No Terrans actually qualified for IeSF. So
this was Warcraft
you can't look
2
at it and be like,
man, only 2 races at this
yeah,
tournament,
seriously. So. It's kind of funny when that happens. It's very rare that you will not get an entire race at a tournament, especially with this many players at it. It's like, well, that's kind of weird. But, hey, at least we get to see a couple good mirrors and then 2 very good ZVPs.
Yeah. We'll have to see. By the way, our other match that we'll be casting after this best of 3 will be Zest against Night End. Zest, I think nobody can disagree, is the favorite to win this entire tournament. But Night End, I do love an underdog. And I would love to see Zest actually – well, I don't want to say see Zest lose, but I would like to see Night End win.
Yes, that's probably
the better way to craft that. But we'll have to see. If Zest doesn't lose this tournament, that's going to be a big surprise for everybody. But I'd say with the other 3 players we have here, SlipCo, Zanster, and Night End, anything can happen. Zest just got knocked out in the round of 16 about, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
We were at ESL in the studios at Burbank in Los Angeles.
He's still the best Protoss in the world, so it's a tough climb for these guys. But don't forget, SlipCo and Zanster are actually both very good at ZVP. So
that's very true. Also, you know, Zest does not have a ton of experience at overseas events. He's actually fairly new to this. He was originally just grinding in a Korean pro house, going to tournaments that were domestic.
This is his 4th overseas event.
Like the GSL, which we host.
Yeah.
And we're going to start this game, actually. The delay is done. So this will be game number 2 here with SlipCo against Zanster. Right now, Zanster in a 1-0 lead. And let's see what map they picked. It's going to be Deadwing.
Yep. I'm not too surprised about that. It seems to fit the style of SlipCo just a little bit better. So we'll see if he opens up with a macro-type play. Of course, you don't always scout your opponent first, so that could change things as well.
Introducing our players down here in the bottom right, winning game number 1. Make some noise for Zanster. SlipCo.
Oh, wow, their colors are so close.
Their colors are very similar. Okay, so that was Zanster. This is where I discover on TV that I'm colorblind. So, excuse me, in the upper right here, make some noise for SlipCo. I think we've been casting for a long time, but these have been the bumpiest intros for one series here, Tosis.
Indeed.
Let's hope they Cassian can make up for it. So they're both sharing the right side of the map.
That's right, and their overlords will actually run into each other pretty soon here, which means they'll immediately know where each other are and be able to alter their plans because of that.
We did see Zanster elect to go for the very aggressive play there in the mid game, getting the Lings in there. Not a bad choice for a map like Overgrowth. The distance between the second base and the typical third base on that map is a punishable distance.
Yeah.
And we saw him utilize that pretty effectively back there and also get his Lings in, just do some damage, get the drones.
Well, here, you know, the third base, you can take it on the high ground and just have this one choke point that's actually a ramp to actually defend for 3 bases. So you can definitely get a bit turtly there, but there are those rocks you see right there on screen, and those can be taken down for another attack path, even though it is a little bit tighter, so kind of hard to attack up there as well.
All right, so slightly different builds coming out here, but again, builds like this can oftentimes bring us to the same place later on. SlipCo, do you think we're going to, from him, do you think we're going to see similar play again?
Yeah, I think that SlipCo wants to play the kind of slower macro game, like get link speed, sure, but maybe not be too aggressive with it. The big question mark in my mind is Zanster. Is he going to mix it up? Is he going to get aggressive again? I'm not sure, but I mean, he has opened with the more greedy opener, and that will give him a little bit of an edge.
You know, you have to wonder what's going on right now in SlipCo's mind after that last game, because it wasn't just that Zanster's strategy was good, but his execution was so good as well. I mean, he really had some of the best Ling harass we've seen in a little while here. So hopefully he can get his head back in the game here, and we can go to game number 3.
I do hope so.
I always prefer for this series to go as long as possible.
Yeah, 2-0s.
As close as possible.
2-0s can be a little bit sad. You know, all these players are so strong. They've actually been working towards this for a while. They had to go through the IeSF qualifiers in their home countries, you know, beat out everyone there. And God knows, Sweden and Russia have a lot of strong players in them. So
and these are 2 countries that have had a pretty long history of strong esports teams.
Oh, absolutely. And in RTS games specifically, very strong.
Remember in Starcraft1, seeing the Russian Terran players. So many good Terran players coming from there.
Yeah.
And of course, Sweden always had a ton of fantastic Starcraft players.
Yeah, a bunch of good Zergs and Protosses from there.
And,
mostly Zergs, though.
Mostly Zergs, that's true.
Yeah.
So Ling speed has started. Now note that Zanster's Ling speed is just a little bit ahead here from SlipCo's here. But it's hard to say how much that'll impact this. Usually when we do see an attack early with Lings, it's right when the Ling speed finishes. So if he comes in there and does some damage and those other Lings are slower, we know obviously speed Lings are always going to be slow Lings.
That's a fact, and you know, we did see that last game as well, so Zanster could be going for it again. In fact, he's getting a Baneling Nest. He did get an Evolution Chamber as well. Will he start +1 melee attack again, though? Because if he does, I think it's for sure going to be the same opener.
Well, it could be. There's a Spine Crawler. I think we'll know if he's going to go for that +1 melee attack, not just when the Evolution Chamber is made, but where it's made, because last time he hit that inside his main. And so it wasn't spotted right away instead of putting that out in the front, hoping to really catch his opponent off guard. For Zanster, we do have a Baneling's Nest right here at the entrance, which can be used later on as some kind of a wall. Back here for SlipCo, the Baneling tucked away inside the main base.
Well, some defensive Banelings already being morphed for both sides. Zergling speed going to finish up. No real engagements occurring, so mostly just droning going on. These guys really want to get their economies rolling so they can produce a lot of higher-end units. Yeah,
a lot of times we see Baneling Nest early on, and people assume that means some kind of aggressive play, but this is actually preemptive Banelings. This is simply so that they don't lose to some other kind of cheese. Similar to how we saw Zanster wreck SlipCo in game number 1 there with that good Ling harass.
Well, we do have 3 gases now for Zanster. And SlipCo as well. So really kind of matching each other completely. The Roach Horns are going to finish it at the same time. We don't have the layer started yet for Zanster, and he's making extra Lings. So we could see him turn on some real aggression here with a lot of Roaches.
Yeah, that is definitely a possibility. I do like the wall in over here at SlipCo's entrance. Now the Lings are coming up here, and the third base is being made. This could be punished. It could be forced to be canceled. There are 2 Banelings over here, but That hasn't stopped Zanster before from getting in here and doing some damage. Let's see what he manages to pull off now. The bulk of the Zerglings are actually at the tail end of this group, so we'll see a lot more coming up here momentarily. And they'll be meeting up with the rest of this group right now.
And by the way, we do have 13 roaches on the way for Zanster, almost hatching out now. So he's definitely committing to a pretty powerful attack, probably on this third base. And if he can kill that third base off, it's huge. But if he does not, if he's held by SlipCo, there's no third base for Zanster, so he'll be far behind.
Zanster's coming up here with a lot of roaches. We have 20 more lings on the way and 10 banelings being made. An attack is about to happen. The question is, can SlipCo hang on? Can he deflect the attack? Can he recover? Or is Zanster going to close us out with a 2-0 win and move on to the finals to face off against either Zest or Night End?
Well, I got to tell you, Tasteless, it looks like SlipCo has caught on. He's canceled his hatchery. He's making extra spine crawlers. I don't think he's going to be broken. This is going to be a fantastic defense here by SlipCo.
Well, he is making more banelings, so apparently Zanster is pretty confident he should be able to get in here. But is this an overextension if he attacks in here and doesn't do it? My God, this is a lot of spine crawlers.
You can't break that.
I think you let those spine crawlers finish and then you just run away with your banelings and your roaches.
I think you're probably right, but these banelings,
this is happening.
Indeed it is, and some great defensive banelings here by SlipCo. And it looks like, oh my God, all the such big explosions here.
That was huge. He actually managed to get in there. Zanster tearing through the defenses.
Oh,
and I don't know
God.
if SlipCo can hang on. You see the other spine crawlers in a bad position. They can't really defend. The roaches can stay back and actually hit the drones. In fact, better yet, they can even go into the main. And I think SlipCo may be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, he may be, Tasteless. This is not looking good for him. These roaches on the ramp can be very cost efficient. And as you can see, the supply in a huge lead for Zanster.
Yeah, Zanster in fantastic shape. More lings coming up, the perfect follow-up to the roach attack since the lings can move so quickly. And as he spills here into the main, I think that's it. I don't know what else he could possibly do. The queens are being surrounded. The workers attempting to cover for the queen. But obviously Zanster's micro is just going to be too good. The drone's now being evacuated as the main is in shambles.
Oh man, a 30 supply lead is so much, especially when you have to run your drones away the entire time. More units trying to come up here, not really connecting quite yet. The banelings going into this mineral line and, killing off quite a few more drones.
Yeah, the drones gathering up, though. He didn't keep all those lings and roaches in the main, which may have been the safer move to just try to take out the spawning pool, take out the hatchery. I mean, hell, take out the extractor, whatever. Get whatever you can removed out there.
Well, look at that. Yeah, the drone count isn't that different, really, Tasteless, at the end of the day.
But the supply count Artosis is, which does mean that Zanster has a way superior army. The only thing that SlipCo can lay back on is the fact that he does have some static defense here. Although only one properly placed spine crawler, he certainly would want to move up the 2 spine crawlers, and he's doing that right now. The 2 that were up there behind the minerals in the second.
Very good. He's got a decent spread on these spines now. Looks like Zanster will walk around and attack those rocks we were talking about earlier. This will open up another attack path, but of course, he has plenty of time to react to this. SlipCo can move his spine crawlers once again, make some more roaches, get a concave on top of this ramp. So I'm not sure that Zanster can finish him off yet, but he definitely did gain a lead.
Zanster's backing up now. And I got to say, SlipCo is a pretty resilient player. He's back in this game. It's not going to be an easy spot. It's going to be an uphill battle, but he is trying to recover his third base here. This would be the moment, though, that Zanster could potentially punish him again. Then again, I guess if SlipCo doesn't take a third anyways, he's going to lose the game no matter what. But let's see, though, while the third base is making, if Zanster opts to come in here and attack again before spine crawlers can be set up.
Well, it looks like he knows that he has a big supply lead now, so to push this aggression is, in fact, the correct call. SlipCo has to have an insane setup on top of this ramp. Look, he's trying to get his spine crawlers over there a little bit too late, though. This could be the time to push. Microing back is Zanster trying to micro here, picking off banelings before they can even connect. Some really great attacks from Zanster.
The spine crawlers are rooting down now. There are more reinforcements coming up. Can SlipCo hang on? I love this play over here. Zanster now coming up and attacking the rocks over at the second. That's going to force the spine crawlers to pick up and relocate. He can tear down the rocks, go back to the third if he wants to as well.
Well, it looks like he has way too many roaches here for what SlipCo has. That spine crawler trying to go down. The drone's being pulled as well, but Zanster pushes forward his supply lead, growing even more.
And there's a lot of different ways this can go. More reinforcements coming up here for Zanster. 128 supply to 71. The spine crawler has been taken out. SlipCo does have a nice angle here with his roaches, or I guess did, until more roaches showed up here for Zanster. Zanster slowly but surely pushing his way either towards that roach warren or towards the main.
And that is it. GG! Zanster going to the finals to face the winner of Zest and Night End.
Pretty awesome series there. Zanster very strong with his engagements.
Yeah,
really able to push through there, do the damage. He knew when to attack. He knew when to pull out. He knew when he did breach his opponent's defenses what to kill. And it was a pretty sick game. So we have one player in the finals now.
That's right.
It's Zanster, and he'll be facing off against either Night End or Zest.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough battle because if Night End's in the type of shape that he can beat Zest, he is a fearsome opponent that should be favored to win. But, of course, Zest, this guy is nearly unbeatable. Can Zanster do that? We'll see.
We will have to see. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll be going on to the second half of the semifinals, which will be Night End against Zest. Stay tuned here at IeSF.